What is up, guys? This is Pinzo back with another video today, and what I have for you guys is going to be my breakdown of patch 13 for Fault. Last video, I went over the patch notes themselves. This video, I've been able to play Fault. I streamed it over on twitch.tv/PinzoDunzo, and I have had more time to play and break it down, and today we're going to be going over the actual implications that this patch has on Fault as a game moving forward. Today, we're going to be going over the good of the patch, the bad of the patch, and then what Fault still needs moving forward after patch 13. As always, if you guys do go on to enjoy the content, please do leave it a like and a subscribe. It's just a button for you guys, but it really helps me out a lot, lets me know that you enjoy the kind of content that I'm making. The vast majority of you guys who watch these videos, I know you're not subscribed, so just click the button. It's just a button. Anyway, getting into today's video, we are going to start with the good of the patch. First off, you are watching the patch in the background. All highlights are from my stream. So you're seeing what the new HUD looks like, what the new map looks like, what the new pings look like. And it looks great. I actually really enjoy the new HUD. It looks very similar to the old Paragon HUD, which is why it looks familiar to a lot of people. A lot of people I saw were questioning where they were like, oh, they copied predecessor's HUD. Well, really, no, they didn't. They copied the Paragon HUD, which I'm okay with. I think it looks fine, and I think that it brings back those Paragon memories just close enough. It's not a one-to-one, but I think it looks pretty good. The new menus look really good. The new tabs menu looks really good. I'm really glad I can mouse over items and see what they do now. My one comment on this is going to be that on the tab menu, I think that there's too much information. I do not think you need to put bounty gold on the tab menu. I think that there's just a little too much going on there. Do you need camp timers on the tab menu? I don't think so. That kind of stuff I think you could take out without losing anything, but I'm not that mad that it's in there as it is. With that, we have new buffs. So there were a couple shrines added to the map. There are 4 of them. There's 1 in solo, 2 in mid, and 1 in duo. These shrines give basically a buff that enhances you for 90 seconds. They're on a 3-minute respawn, and these shrines have 1200 health, but they don't hit back. So they're just a totem on the map, essentially, that you smack until they lose all their HP, and then you get the buff. These are a really cool idea. So this is basically Fault's version of river buffs, and I think that they work okay. I think that they could work a little better, mostly just on the balance side. Gold buff, of course, is really OP. Giving extra gold on lane minion kills is just making the game snowballier, especially when you put it in the duo lane. It's putting it into the carry's favor, which is just something that they do with about every other thing in the game, and I don't think that this also needs that. As far as the mid lane buff goes, I really think that the XP gain should stack. Right now, as far as I can tell, the duration just refreshes on the buff, but you don't get 2 times the 5% XP gain. I think that you should get rewarded for stealing both sides of the shrine. But other than that, these are a pretty good substitute for some kind of river buff. They give an objective in the middle of the map to fight over, and that is what they're supposed to do. In Predecessor, your river buffs were basically just bonuses. They died in, 1 or 2 hits, and they just gave you something for 30 seconds. And this is sort of a SMS take on their river buff. It's a longer buff, but it's something that you're going to have to actually fight for. And I do actually quite like these. This was probably my most enjoyable part of this patch, especially playing it, with some higher level players. Everyone knows that they need to rotate to gold buff because getting gold buff for your carry wins the game. Moving into the bad side of this patch, there's only one thing added in this patch that I truly didn't like, and that was the tower changes. They cut tier 2 health by about 1000 HP, and they cut inhib's HP by about 3000. What this does is encourage snowballing. Basically, once you have that tier 1 tower down, the next 2 are going to fall fairly quickly, and I don't like that. I don't think that you should be rewarded for split pushing. I think you should be rewarded for winning team fights. And right now, the reason that you're not is because Orb Prime doesn't spawn until 20 minutes. I think that if Orb Prime spawned at 15 or so, you would see more team fights. At 20 minutes, you can still be split pushing that, and you're not really losing anything. What are you losing on the Orb Prime side of the map if you split push in duo? You're not really losing anything. And that's kind of the point of this inhib change being bad, is that you're not being punished for that. If you want to split push, it should take a little longer. I think that, knocking 1000 or 1500 health off of an inhib wouldn't have been a bad thing. It would make defense less oppressive. I think this is too far on that change. That's all. I think that if they tweak it back up a little bit, I think it will be in a better place than it was previously, but I don't think that where it is now, post patch 13, is actually a good spot for it. As far as things in the game that are still bad, the game's slow. If your issue pre-patch 13 was the fact that the game feels like you're moving through molasses, you still will not like Fault. Your character moves slow. Their arms move slow when they're trying to auto attack. The game moves slow. You're in laning phase at 15, 18 minutes, still trying to farm your third item. You don't do damage until 25 minutes in. A game that you're winning for the entire duration will still last 35 minutes because it's impossible to end. If you get every single Raptor, every single Orb Prime, that game can still go 30, 35 minutes because there's just no ability to push because you don't have enough items to actually be able to kill people, take towers, and win the game. It's just one of those things where the whole game feels slow, and if they were to speed it up, I think it would truly, that's the best thing that they could do for the game. Another thing that I figured I'd mention with this is something that doesn't bother me personally, but I know that it does bother quite a few people in the community, and that is bugs. There's a lot of them still. I think it's to be expected in an early access game, but some people really don't like that. So I figured I'd throw that one in here, along with balance. So there was a small balance patch in patch 13, and I didn't like it. I don't think there were really any changes in there that were impactful or good changes. I think that they really just need to nerf carries, nerf carry items, and then buff solo laners, essentially. I think that that's about what needs to happen. Buff junglers, that kind of thing. And right now they are buffing carries, which to me just doesn't make sense. The balance patches have probably been some of the more underwhelming things I've seen recently. But supposedly we are getting more bi-weekly balance patches. So every 2 weeks we should be getting more balance patches. So hopefully that will even out the carry problem in the game, and that would be my hope. Overall, I think that this was a fairly good patch, a step in the right direction, but I still think that it has a long ways to go before most of the community would be willing to come back to Fault. But that has been it for my breakdown of patch 13. If you guys don't believe anything I said, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys really don't believe me, jump into a game and try it out, especially if you've already spent the 20 bucks. There's no reason to not jump in a game and try out patch 13. If you haven't, maybe go watch some gameplay first, see what's in the background, that kind of stuff. But that's all I've got for you guys today. So as always, if you enjoyed, please do leave a like and a subscribe. It's just a button for you guys, and I know the majority of you guys don't click it, but if you would, it would mean a lot to me. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I've been Pinzo. This video's donezo. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.